Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today is going to be the greatest day of your life. I love being a parent, and being a parent is one of the best jobs I think I've ever taken on in my whole entire life. And I recently came across some information and some studies that surprised me a little bit, but were also very informational. I'd like to share the knowledge with you as well. It was regarding parenting styles and how those parenting styles may impact our children. Just something to think about, right? So the impact of parenting styles on early childhood development and education can also be influenced by other factors such as your child's temperament, the quality of the parent-child relationship, cultural influences, and external support systems. And I just want to decode a few different parenting styles and how they possibly could be shaping the future of your child. I want you to remember that when our children are born, they're an empty glass. And we fill that glass with knowledge and information. Whatever goes into that glass is who they become later in life. We're responsible for who our children are as children. Our children will then be responsible for who they are as adults, right? But it is for us to set the appropriate foundation for our children, utilizing a parenting style that matches our home environment and our relationship with our children. Remember, this is the greatest opportunity you're ever going to have to make a difference in the world, because you raise children that are productive, successful, compassionate, and have independent ability to accomplish things, and they can change the world for the better. They can also impact other people and make their lives better also. So take your parenting style seriously and take your relationship with your family, your children, and your spouse to heart. You could tell everything you wanted to know about someone by meeting their family, because people put their time and their money where their heart is. Okay? Parenting style refers to the kind of approach that parents have towards their children with relevance to the future. Parenting can be done in many different ways, but it's a highly debated question as to what the right approach is. And I'm going to mention a few approaches here, but I'm not saying one is better over the other. You have an independent parenting style that is appropriate for your relationship with your children and your home environment. So I recommend that you follow through with what's working best for you in advancing your children's success, okay? And any parenting style is influenced by various factors as well, right? But it's important to consider the unique needs and characteristics of your children when you determine the most appropriate parenting approach. Now, parenting styles can have long-lasting effects on your children as they grow into adulthood, right? And if you look at yourself, there's those commercials on TV where the man is mentoring the people who are, it's an insurance commercial, and the man is always mentoring these people who are becoming their parents, right? Because if you look back at what your parents did in life, it probably has had a big impact and an influence on what you do today. I guarantee you, if you grew up in a family that had certain issues, you probably might represent those issues in your home today. I've personally had to overcome some circumstances. I grew up in a house where we argued, and there was just constant arguing and bickering, and it was a very unhappy household that I grew up in. So I had to proactively change my programming in my supercomputer to become a more effective parent that avoided those types of arguments and circumstances that I had to go through as a child, because it made my childhood very unhappy. My home life, I was not happy with the parenting style that was applied in my home. I'm not blaming my parents. They did the best they could. I'm just saying that I have a different style as an adult now, and I just do things a little bit differently. But my approach is getting different results with my children. And I think my parents, I grew up in that environment. I didn't turn out so bad, right? So they must have been doing something right. So like I'm saying, just because we don't agree with the specific parenting style, or we look back and find faults with the way we were brought up, so on and so forth. It doesn't mean it wasn't effective, because you're the unique, amazing person that you are today because of the home life you had, and we're a direct representation of the path we've had to follow, and now we're choosing the path that we are going to continue down towards our goals, right? So it's kind of interesting to look back and you're like, hey, lessons learned. You may have grown up in a household where many things happened that you didn't agree with. That's perfectly fine, because those are lessons learned. Now you have the gift of being able to look back and learn from that circumstance and say, hey, I didn't really like the way we did this in my house when I was growing up. I'm going to choose to do it differently so that I can get different results in my life, and different results for my family, and specifically my children. When my daughters were born, my wife and I agreed that we were going to do something. We have a mantra that we go through in our home that I've always done with my kids. I always ask my daughters, Sarah and Audrey, why are you so smart? And they say, because I am. And I say, why are you so beautiful? And they say, because I am. And then I say, why does Daddy love you? And they always say, because you do. And that little 3-question mantra, we've done that our whole lives. I remember doing it at restaurants and every chance I got, because I wanted to have a home life where I told my children, you can do anything. You can have anything. If you want to change your life, change your life. You can have anything you want in this world. All you have to do is just go get it. And when you understand that everything is available to everybody, it's just a matter of acquiring the appropriate knowledge and applying it and going and getting what you want and not quitting. You can just get incredible results. I have a 14-year-old child. She's going to graduate from high school this year. She's also a junior in college. So shortly after she graduates with her high school diploma, she'll have a college degree. And what she does after that is completely up to her. And I believe she can accomplish anything. And you know why? Because her whole entire life, she's been told everything's possible and that she can do it and that she is loved and supported in this home environment. It has made all the difference. I have an 11-year-old daughter that is so creative and has this incredible ability to exercise her gifts. And she exercises on her gifts and doesn't feel like she can't do something or something's not good enough. She writes books and she writes novels and she writes the most amazing stories you've ever read. She brings things into me sometimes and I sit down and I read them and it blows me away. I think she's downloaded it from the internet, and my wife will say, I sat there while she wrote the whole thing. An 11-year-old with the aptitude and ability to write with such incredible intent and creativity just completely blows me away. But I'm going to take a little credit here. I am an involved parent, and I support my children, and I tell them they're great every day. In fact, if you walk around our house, I went on Amazon and I bought some affirmations, and it says, I believe in myself. Some of them say that. Some say, I can accomplish anything. Some say, I'm going to make a difference in the world. And we have these taped up. We have a beautiful home. We have these taped up all over our house. So when you walk in the front door, there's an affirmation right there. When you're coming down the stairs, there's affirmations there. In my children's bedrooms, there's a few on the walls in different places. They can't sit at a desk in their room without looking up and seeing an affirmation that tells them, whatever you read, you act on that. Whatever you read, whatever you hear, it goes into this supercomputer. That's the only information your supercomputer has the ability to act on. It's the programming that all your outcomes come from. Once you realize that what you put in here is what you get out here in the world, you can have anything you want and you can do anything you want to do. So I'm just talking a little bit about my personal experience. I'm so proud of my family. I think that they're doing a fantastic job. But we set these little affirmations up around the house so that it's reinforcement. And if you put those up around your house, I went on Amazon, I bought them for like $15, and they sent me like 40 of them, and I just put them up all over the house. And it's not fine artwork, but you know what it is? It's a fine approach to cultivating incredible positive intent in your children's minds. And also it helps you to walk around and read, hey, if I'm looking at one right now, it says, if you want to change your life, you've got to change your life. Of course, that's something we would have up in our house, but because I say it all the time, right? But we also have others that say, I have the ability to change the world. I can accomplish anything. And I walk around and I see them and I read them. I believe they've changed me too. They keep me positive throughout the day. And anybody who's in our home, they love it. It's just something I could recommend to you. But let's get into some of the parenting styles here. I just have a few real quick that I wanted to discuss, and what some of the possible outcomes could be from some of these parenting styles. Now, and the first one I was looking at was permissive parenting. And that's a parenting style where the parents are lenient, have little expectations, and have negligible rules for children. Such a style creates an impact on children in different ways. Parenting experts say that with this way of parenting, children may struggle with self-control and have difficulty in following rules and boundaries. Now, children may expect to have their desires met without any regard for others. It's a one-size-fits-all approach that may not be suitable for children nurtured under the permissive parenting style. Okay. And the next one was authoritarian parenting. Now, parents tend to be strict with this parenting style. They're also demanding and controlling. They expect unquestioned obedience and often use punishment as a means of discipline. The impact of authoritarian parenting on child development can include the following. Child development specialists indicate that children may struggle to think for themselves and make choices. Constant criticism and punishment can lead to a diminished sense of self-worth and confidence. Some children may develop rebellious behaviors as a result of this parenting style. Authoritative parenting is the next one. Authoritative parents establish clear rules and expectations, but also provide warmth, support, and open communication. Now, they balance discipline with understanding, guidance, and explanations. The impact of authoritative parenting on child development can include the following. Children raised by authoritative parents tend to have a healthy sense of self-esteem and exhibit better self-regulation skills. These children often develop good social skills and have the ability to navigate relationships effectively. Children become responsible and capable individuals, say parenting experts. That sounds like a really good one, and I believe that directly represents the approach that we've taken in our home. You may identify with that approach too, or maybe one of the two other approaches that I recommended. I just want to assure you that I'm not recommending one approach over the other, and I'm not judging anybody based on their approach and how they work with their children. Each individual home circumstance is independent and specific to you and your goals for your children and your family as a whole. Now, here's one that I can't self-identify with, but it's a parenting style that is unfortunate, and that's neglectful parenting. Such parents are uninvolved, emotionally detached, unresponsive, and neglectful to their children's needs. They provide minimal guidance, supervision, and support. The impact of neglectful parenting on child development is varied, but children may experience difficulties in emotional and behavioral issues. It can contribute to poor academic outcomes for children, and children struggle with developing secure attachments and trusting others. Now, it's important to note that parenting styles are not rigid categories, and many parents exhibit a mix of each of these different styles, right? So you can't just silo people into one specific parenting style. I think that we tend to blend a little bit, and based on the situation or circumstance we're currently dealing with our children or within our family, we can exhibit a different type of parenting style, which is perfectly okay. I believe it's very important, though, that we be consistent and we maintain a positive discipline and be warm with our children, right? We need to adapt to our children's needs as they grow. I can tell you, my children's needs at the age of 4 isn't their needs at the age of 11 and 14. They're young women now. They're totally different. They unfortunately don't like to watch the children's shows that I still like to watch, but that's okay. We used to watch cartoons together, and it was a lot of fun, and now they're a little bit more grown up, a little bit more diverse in their approach to entertainment. But Dad still likes the Looney Tunes. I tell you what, it's what I grew up with. And, it's very important that we just try to be as effective as we can and flexible and adaptive in our approach with our children. We need to find a balance in providing guidance and allowing our children to develop their independence, right? And when this is done, our children can go on to conquer the world by becoming the best versions of themselves they possibly can. I know you love your children, and I know you care about them. I just wanted to talk about some of the information I had recently come across as it relates to parenting. I know you're doing a fantastic job. You have my support. I care about you. I care about your family. And I want to see you have the best outcome you possibly can in your journey as a parent. I hope you have a wonderful day, my friends. I'll talk to you tomorrow with some great information. Take care.